Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of the Home Building and Remodeling Show. I have with me special guest. She's an all-star and really has a lot of momentum. Her name is Shannon Evans. Shannon, how are you?
Hi, thank you for having me. This is
Of
exciting.
course. Yeah, it was a no-brainer for me to bring you on. We met a little over a year ago just by you reaching out and wanting to come and hang out and visit. And then another reason that I wanted to have you on was because you actually came here, hung out with us for a couple of days, and then you took this information and knowledge and basically now you're sharing it with the world.
With the
So do you
world.
want to tell us a little bit about how the
Thank
world?
you for being so willing to share with me and taking that risk of saying, yeah, we'll show her how to do
Of
everything.
course.
So yeah, it came down to Biloxi, right? Is that is that the town I
No,
flew?
Alabama,
I don't remember
but
what town I
it's
flew into.
okay. We're close enough to Biloxi.
Flew into a town of people I didn't know, went to
Yeah,
meet a bunch of people I didn't know. But yeah, it was so great. I at the time I had known that we would be filming for
yeah,
our show, and I luckily was able to connect with you. And I knew if I was going to learn the best ways to do it, because I knew the platform would be seen by millions, and I
yeah,
didn't want to go in and build something incorrectly or get torn up for maybe something that I could have done better. So I knew that that would be something that you and I could connect on, and sure enough, we did. You taught me something in almost every project that you see on TV. I mean, most of them were done through something I learned from you, and of
that
course
is
Jeremiah.
amazing.
And so yeah, it was really fun. It
And
was
then you
wild.
also, so one of the cool things is as soon as you left, you also like had a viral video that you had filmed
That's
of
right.
Jeremiah doing the bucket, right?
Yeah, what
And
is it
that
about like
video went
millions?
crazy.
Yeah, like millions for soaking the tile. And
Yeah,
it's funny because tiling is one of those things that there were so many people with so many opinions.
of
But for the
course.
most part, it's like a supportive community when you start to post things about tips and tricks. It's like, no, I like it when people are more likely to say, like, here's why I do it or here's why I don't, rather than being like, that's a stupid idea. But either way,
Right.
it
And
went
you
viral.
get that. We get that. We do so many how-tos that every video
Everyone.
has 50 different people with 50
Sure.
different ways that they could have done it better.
Well, could have
But
done it better.
that is also the beauty of what we do
Yeah.
because a lot of times what people don't realize is we go back and read those and the ones that are worth reading we do
Sure.
and we actually will put some of that into practice.
Absolutely. I mean, I learned a
Yeah.
lot. It's how I learned. It was like at the time, like even just finding you guys and the strength that you had with what you were teaching people and what you were
Yeah.
so well versed in. And it was like, oh my gosh, this would be great to be able to learn from someone who you don't just do, you do because you understand why.
Yeah.
And that was like, again, that was the most important thing for me. I didn't want to just do it on TV. I wanted to be able to say, like, oh, I'm doing it this way because, or I'm doing it this way because of the following reasons, or this makes sense because of this way, because I was afraid people would challenge that on this platform. Just like they
Absolutely.
did in the, in the video. It's like if they start challenging me, I wanted a leg to stand on. And you gave me
Absolutely.
that because I was like, no, actually, this is why I'm doing it this way.
I just thought it was so cool that you just kind of reached out, messaged, DM, whatever, and was like, "Hey, I would love to come down." And then I was like, "Well, sure, come on down." And you did it because we get a lot of people that do that. We get a lot of people
Sure.
that are, where's this training? And
Yeah.
they don't realize that this is our office space and the stuff that we show, we're actually doing
You are
remodeling,
doing.
which is real work. Yeah.
You are
This is our
doing.
everyday life.
I think it was so
So
unique. Even though,
yeah,
like, even when the Uber driver was taking me, he's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I don't really know these people, and I know it's out in the middle of nowhere, and we're going to this building. I don't know. I'm hoping these guys aren't going to kill me."
that's
But
right.
like, just the way that you walk into your space, and it's like everybody there was so eager to not only like teach me, but we were all learning something. I mean, no matter what
Absolutely.
you're always going to learn something if you would just listen and watch
Yeah.
instead of being like the pro. Oh no,
Well, and
this
that's
is how
kind
I
of
do it.
our when we talk to each other and we do a lot of training here, and the reason that we do that and why it's so important in our industry is because product and technology change so much.
So much.
So
Sure.
you may learn something and then 6 months later there's a new way, there's a better way, quicker, faster, more efficient. And that's what it's all about. So we never try to box ourselves in to one way. So my whole team has embraced learning as a part of our culture.
Yes.
We
No,
are a learning company.
you can see that. That is very clear when you walk in there.
So let's get to some of the questions I have for you. And,
I hate questions.
so where are you based out of? Let's start there.
Sure, sure. I'm based in, well, I say Charlotte, North Carolina because I live in the Carolinas. We
Yeah.
border north and south. Like
Yeah.
I can walk over the border right now in 3 minutes, right? So
Okay.
in the Carolinas, and our city is Charlotte because that's where we are, but we're
Gotcha.
actually in South Carolina. So I'm
Okay.
based in, like, when you watch the show, it's Charlotte, North Carolina, because
Yeah.
it's just the closest big city for me. But
Gotcha.
I'm based in the Carolinas.
Got you. And one of the other cool things about you was not just that you were doing this stuff. I had watched some of the Ryobi stuff, so you've done
Sure.
some Ryobi stuff. Let's jump over to the Ryobi stuff. So another important part of your story and journey that I had noticed was that you were doing some videos and different things for Ryobi. Can
Yeah.
you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Ryobi and I had connected years ago, a couple years ago. And at the time, just like everything, like we had just come out of COVID and people were really into projects. There was a lot of weekend warriors, if you will, coming up, and
Yeah.
more people willing to do things because when you're locked in your home for a long time, I suppose that's when you start getting really, really antsy with your hands. So people were doing a lot of
Yes.
great stuff. And I think they were going through a phase where they knew they wanted a face to some of their videos and some of
Mhm.
their product descriptions and videos on YouTube and all of these things they were doing, of someone that was more approachable for what they were looking to sell.
Yeah.
And so we connected on that level and our missions kind of lined up. I wasn't out there being like, I know everything and I'm a bad builder and I'm really great. It was
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm a DIYer. I love doing this stuff. I want to explain to people and empower people to do it. And I also want to come across really approachable so that if people meet me on the streets and say, hey, you're the Ryobi girl, I can give them tips and they know they can ask for that. Right.
Yeah.
So it's funny because that really catapulted for me a confidence in, like, saying, you know what, I do have credibility. If a
Yeah.
company as big as Ryobi is willing to say, I'm going to slap your face on our products and put them out there. Like if you go to the Home Depot app and you're searching for a Ryobi tool, my face comes up. Like
How
you
cool is that?
can't just be throwing yourself out there if you don't feel. I mean, it was just such a really just a wild experience to get into that with them. And then of course that turned into more people being like, well, okay, now it was almost like a circle of I got credibility from them, but then I got credibility from that and they got credibility. Like it just kind of went in this circle of like, wait a
Yeah.
minute. I love these tools. I do love using them. I do love what they were teaching other people, and the ease of using them
I
made
love
me
that.
able to say to people, oh, you're just starting. Here's some really great beginner tools. And I knew I was giving them something they can manage.
So I'm
So
glad you hit on that piece, and that's kind of why I wanted to ask you about it because I did a tool brand vote the other day, and I wanted to throw. I say Ryobi. I know I'm
it's
saying it
okay.
wrong. It's
It depends
Ryobi.
where you're from.
Okay. All right. So we'll stick with Ryobi. But so, for beginner,
Mhm.
okay, they are very affordable
Very affordable.
and their connections, right? The
Mhm.
disconnect and the batteries and being able to swap. I
Yep.
mean, they have streamlined that to make it to where you can use the same battery on multiple tools.
Multiple platforms. Yep.
And affordability when you're first starting out as a contractor is very important when you're building up. So you build up over time your tools, the amount of tools you have. You get bigger tools, you get better tools.
Mhm.
But in my opinion, you cannot beat the quality that Ryobi, and we still have a ton of Ryobi stuff. The quality that they give you at
Sure.
that definitely the beginner level, and
Absolutely.
again, they're building up their brand and their quality of tool. I think can compete, with some of those other brands, even beyond beginner. You know
Sure.
what I mean?
And they
So
own, like, TTI Electronic. They own TTI owns other brands too.
yeah,
So it's like when you look at a company that strong and saying there's a need for tools that aren't intimidating. I
yeah,
always say they're very approachable. They're very user friendly.
love
Um,
that,
and seeing, even doing the show, like I only used Ryobi on the show purposely. Like
love
I'm
that,
not going to water myself down as a brand and saying this is what I use, and then someone tunes in on TV and sees me using something else. So
love that.
it was
Yeah,
it's funny. I have this. They just sent me these huge boxes of like
look
the
at you.
starter kits, and it's like everything you need to
I
start with
love that.
cooking.
Yeah, and
I'm
we've
actually
bought a
giving,
couple.
yeah, it's like so helpful because it's just one box of everything that anyone would need to start. How many
I
tool
love that.
companies can say that they do that, and that ease of that price point? I don't know. I love them. They're just
You
great.
cannot, yeah, you cannot beat that. And to be quite frank, like even watching some of the stuff that you do on your pages, right? Made by. Shannon Evans, correct?
Yeah.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
Please go check it out. You do some fun stuff. I
Thanks.
love watching you on your pages.
Well,
Has there been something that you haven't been able to do as far as, I need a better saw or anything, right? You no. I
and if I
mean,
do, I
so
just tell them I need it, right? Like
that's right.
they make it. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
like what I'm doing, but there's a tool for everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
That, got you learning about tools. It put your face on camera and it made you more comfortable in doing the stuff that you're doing. And now you're out there, you have your own pages and Insta and Facebook and different things.
Yeah.
But now this leads us into kind of what you're doing now, which, you hinted on and couldn't talk much about when you were here for
No,
obvious reasons. But
sure.
I love the watching you on there. And one of the important parts is that you're the only female builder on the show
I
right now,
am. I
right?
am. I'm the only
I
female.
love I love
I
the
mean,
pink
the thing
coveralls,
that
rocking it out. And what's the name of the show?
Renovation Resort Showdown on HGTV.
Got it.
Yeah.
And how was that experience for you?
That's a big, I mean, it's a never ending answer to that question of how that experience was.